Welcome to the Pete White Show on Super Bowl Sunday at halftime. I have to come to you from Old Lake Cumming Township tonight because I'm snowed in. Amazing the technology they have these days. Tonight's show, the Pete White Show, is brought to you by Sonny's Easy Pass. Never have to wait at a toll booth again. Okay, first topic today is that I checked on my texts and on some of the Pete White Show Facebook page, which you want to get on and like. That some people were concerned about name calling. So I thought that I would spend just a minute or two here on name calling. First of all, when I was young, my parents taught me, which I assume your parents did too, that sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And those of you that know anything about promoting boxing events, everyone always has a nickname. If you remember watching even fictitious boxers like Rocky Balboa was the Italian Stallion, and he fought against Apollo, Captain America, Creed. That is part of marketing. It's not name calling. And also, I was accused of calling Joy portly. And I'm not exactly sure what the problem with that is because, she is portly. I could have called her a fat pig, but I decided not to do that. I decided to call her portly. So I'm not exactly sure what the thing about name calling is because, once again, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt me. For those of you young people out there that are listening, that's something you can learn from this show because apparently it's not apparent to everybody who listens to the show that words are just words. They can't hurt you. But anyhow, so calling somebody Joy the Portly Toy McCoy or Ed the Boy McCoy is not name calling. That is promoting an event, and also truth is a defense. Somebody said to me, hey, you've gained 10 pounds when you went to Brooklyn. I would say, yeah, I have. And if they said, hey, you're a little bit portly, I would say, yeah, you're right, I am portly. That's what happens when you don't exercise for a week, you're used to exercising, and you head on to, and you head out of town. Now, to get to the big story of the week in Williamsport, breaking news, the Williamsport area high school football coach. From my sources in Williamsport and which were confirmed in Chester, the new Williamsport High football coach is Chuck Crews, C-R-E-W-S. He was not currently the head coach of Chester. He's a former head coach of Chester, and my sources in Chester tell me he's a very good guy. My suggestion to you is to Google him, Chuck Crews, C-R-E-W-S, to find out about him. And as you know, in Williamsport, we are family. The other Williamsport area school district news is, if you look on the Pete White Show Facebook page, you will see that we are going to present a petition to Superintendent Don Adams, head principal of the high school, Brandon Pardo, and athletic director Sean McCann, petitioning them to contact the PIAA and make sure that Christian Diggs does not have a one-game suspension for next season, which in my opinion is totally ridiculous. So if there's any of you people out there that agree with me, please get on the Pete White Show website, on Facebook, and get your name in there so that we can present a petition with many, many, many names to let them know that punishing Christian for something that had nothing to do with him for more than one season is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, now, the other bit of news from this week is adult probation. It's headed by Ed the Boy McCoy. And as you know, as far as I'm concerned, in Williamsport, we are family. But apparently that's not the case with adult probation. I have a story from you that I was told about this week. It seems to me that family court and adult probation should not be separating people from their families, and that I happen to be a Christian, of course. But I respect all religions. But in the Christian religion, many times you hear the saying, "Do what Jesus would do," and it seems to me that adult probation is not doing that. There is a person who is on probation that wants to live with his girlfriend in a 5-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom house, and he's not being permitted to do that. The family is being separated. He also has a special needs son, and they told him that they would get him a bed at the rescue workers, or they would put him in jail, but that he could not stay with his family or friends. And to me, that's just ridiculous, because if you're supposed to be doing what Jesus would do, if there's a 5-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom house out there, that is available for somebody to stay in, rather than having them take up a bed at the rescue workers or take up a bed at the Lycoming County Prison, which is overflowing because of, in my opinion, adult probation and the DA's office as it is, and we're paying money to keep people in Clinton County Prison. That why not let somebody stay in a beautiful home as long as they have a place to stay and be with their girlfriend, and especially someone who has a special needs child. So I'm not exactly sure what is going on with adult probation. But once again, Ed the Boy, if you're out there, maybe you can explain it to everybody, because I, for one, don't understand what's going on with adult probation. So we sure would like some answers, and it'd be nice if you return my phone call. Okay, now we're at the part of the show. Some people's favorite is Text Pete Straight. So 570-244-6600 on any topic. Text Pete Straight. Okay, the first text I already received: do the criminals that live with you pay rent? First of all, no criminals live with me. I do live in a beautiful home. I've been very fortunate and blessed in my lifetime. But there's no criminals who live with me. This person did not give a name. And also, nobody pays rent at my house, because it's like, once again, if you do what Jesus would do, you don't ask people for rent if you can afford not to have them pay it. So I have a 5-bedroom home with 4 empty bedrooms, and if somebody needs a place to live, I guess I should say out there, hey, give me a call, because there's no sense having 4 empty bedrooms in my home and have Lycoming County Prison overflowing with people that we got to pay in another county. And like I said, if adult probation would allow people to stay in beautiful homes instead of telling them that they have to stay either in prison or at the rescue workers, then maybe this wouldn't be going on. Now, another text for Text Pete Straight. I heard Diggs is coming back to Williamsport now that there is a new coach, Tommy. Tommy, I'm not sure if that's true, but if that is true, that's breaking news. But it seems to me that his parents, his father, moved to Loyalsock. So I suppose if he moves back to Williamsport, then he should be able to play, go to Williamsport School District and play football for Williamsport. But who knows with the PIAA and the Williamsport administration. I suspect that the Diggs family is not very happy with the Williamsport administration, so regardless of who the coach is, that I'd find it tough for them to move back to Williamsport, considering the way their son has been treated. But if he does come back to Williamsport, I would welcome him with open arms. As I told you, I know Christian personally, very good kid, classy, just like his parents, but I suspect that he's staying in Loyalsock. And also, this is also from the first person that asked about the criminals. He said, "Do you think Williamsport will let Diggs come back?" And I'm not sure, what the PIAA rules are about letting people come back, but I assume that if Christian lives in this Williamsport School District, that he'll have to go to some school, and that would be Williamsport High School, considering he's going to be a senior next year. I'm not sure what Don and Brandon and Sean think, because considering the fact they didn't do what was in his best interest last time, who knows what they would do this time. Like I said, I'm very disappointed in those 3 men. They're supposed to be doing what's in the best interest of the children, in my opinion, rather than unless there's some overriding factor like safety, which in this case was not so. So who knows what those guys would do. Okay, like I said, I'm going to keep the text lines open here. I've had 3 texts so far. We have time for a couple more. If somebody wants to text, 570-244-6600. Okay, got a text from Steve. Are you running for office? It seems like you're up to something. I have some consideration for a countywide office, and I will make that announcement at the right time. But as of right now, I have not made up my mind whether I'm running for county office or not. And as I said last week, I do not live in the city, so I'm not available to run for mayor or any city office. Okay, don't you feel like the next time you get in trouble, the local law will throw the book at you? Steve, when we get to our Civics 101 lesson today, it's about free speech, and I'm not concerned about anybody throwing the book at me, because you're supposed to have done something wrong for somebody to throw the book at you. And so far, as I've said on my prior shows, I have not been accused of nor convicted of any crime, any misdemeanor, or any felony. So, no, I'm not concerned about anything. I'm hoping that there's some people out there in the DA's office, in the court system, like the judges, who respect the Constitution and agree with free speech and figure, hey, this guy has the right to say what he wants to say. And like I said, keep listening later in this show when we get to the Civics 101 lesson, because it's about free speech. Okay, like I said, I probably have time for maybe one or two more texts, so keep them coming, 570-244-6600. Okay. Oh, by the way, I just got something, a text here. Dave Berman and Chester are pumped for Coach Cruz, who is our new football coach. So I wanted to say that on the air. Dave Berman and Chester are pumped for Coach Cruz. It's very nice of the Chester people to back Williamsport's new coach. I'm sure the Coach Cruz appreciates that. Are you against Mayor Campana running for mayor? If so, I will vote for him. No, I'm not against Mayor Campana running for mayor. I think he should run for mayor. He has every right to run for mayor, and so does anyone else who lives in the city. But am I going to endorse Mayor Campana for mayor? No chance. Absolutely no chance. Go on www.williamsporttalks.com. Watch the video that my father did at Memorial Park during the Williamsport Proud March. Watch the video that I did in August, and you will see that my opinion is, and that of Coach White's is, that we should run this guy out of town. So I'm glad that he's running for mayor so we can learn a lesson. And no, I would not vote for him if I had the opportunity to vote for mayor, but I don't, since I don't live in the city. And you should take advantage of your right to vote for him, because it says you'll vote for him. That's fine. You should take advantage of that right to do that. That was one of my civics lessons from a couple of days ago, which of course Pete the Repeat will go back over today. Make sure that you register and make sure you vote. I mean, even if you vote even if you're uninformed and vote for Mayor Gabe Campana, you still have every right to vote. I mean, geez, at least you're exercising your right. Okay, looks like that is the end of the Text Pete Straight show, portion of the show, because I want to stick to our half an hour today to coincide with halftime. Good question here. Let me see. Oh, one last question here. It's asked, what ethnicity is Cruz? Is he Spanish? I do not believe that he is Spanish, because his name is spelled C-R-E-W-S, not C-R-U-Z. My sources from Chester tell me he's an African-American man, an African-American coach, a black coach. So even though his name may sound Spanish, I do not believe that he is Latino. I believe that my sources from Chester tell me that he is African-American. Not that really matters, because, like I said, Williamsport, we are family, should make no difference, whether somebody's black or white, Christian or non-Christian, rich or poor, homosexual or heterosexual. Those things are immaterial. What's important is the quality of your character. And once again, in Williamsport, we are family. Okay, now moving on to the next portion of the show, Civics 101 lesson. Civics 101 tonight. First of all, Pete the Repeat. Remember from our first show on January the 4th, don't agree to a search. That's giving up your constitutional rights. From the second show on the 11th of January, make sure you register and vote. Very, very important to exercise your right to vote. So make sure you're registered and you vote in the primary in May. My understanding so far from people who have contacted me that there are 4 people that have contacted me so far, or that I found out about, that are running for mayor. So there are 3, as far as I know, there are going to be 3 possibilities to vote for mayor that are not Gabe Campana. So research those 3 people once they all announce, and decide who should be our new mayor. Thirdly, that when you're arrested, to be quiet and hire an attorney. Exercise your right to to not testify against yourself or not say anything against yourself. So be quiet, wait for your attorney, and hire an attorney. Last week, the 25th, number 4, was more of a public service announcement, for my opinion. That is, I embrace diversity. That people who are diverse is a positive thing. That helps the community. It helps if you live on a street that has a diverse population in terms of color, ethnicity, religion, sexual preference, wealth. Those are good things. The more diverse an area is, the better it is. I mean, if you look at colleges want to admit as much diversity as they can, and they become great places of learning, not only in the classroom, but also, in the social aspect of the community. So, my message last week was to embrace diversity. And of course, once again, in Williamsport, and, that diversity should turn into unity because we are family. Now, today's Civics 101 lesson, free speech. Now, just so everyone understands, the Constitution protects us from the government. So when it's said you have free speech, that means the government cannot punish you for your speech. That doesn't mean that your employer can't punish you for your speech, because your employer is not the government. Your employer is, unless the employer is your government, is the government. But if your employer is a private corporation or a private person, then they can punish you for your speech without going against the Constitution. However, if you work for the government, then you cannot be punished for your speech unless you do something like yell fire in a crowded theater, or if you use what's called fighting words to possibly incite a riot. But other than that, the government is not supposed to punish you for your speech, even in Lycoming County, believe it or not. We are part of the Union, we are part of the United States, and the federal Constitution does apply, as well as the state Constitution. However, private corporations or private employers can punish you for your speech. Like, for instance, in the NFL can punish their players for their speech, because that's not the government. So the players in the NFL have a right to free speech in terms of the government, but their employers can still punish them for that. So keep in mind, the Constitution protects you from the government. All right? So if you have a private employer, it doesn't protect you. In other words, it protects you from what's called a state actor. And a state actor around here would be the city of Williamsport, the municipality. It would be other municipalities like the township supervisors, the police, adult probation, judges, things like that. Those are what are called state actors. Things that aren't state actors, even though they probably should be, would be things like the Pennsylvania Scholastic Athletic Association, which is why they get away with not having due process for people like Christian Diggs. If they were a state actor, they would have to have due process. But since they're not a state actor, they can get away without having due process. And none of the judges of Lycoming County or any other county, as far as I could tell, believe that they're state actors, so they let them get away with any type of crooked things that they want to do. Which is very unfortunate, because instead of doing what's in the best interest of the children, these judges let the PIAA do whatever they want to do. And the same with the NCAA. As you know, the NCAA punished Penn State, and they did not give, in my opinion, the Paterno family due process, but they were not required to do so because the NCAA is not considered a state actor. However, those things may be changing soon. Let's hope. And coming up on our next show next week, we'll have some nice news about this Paterno family in Penn State. All right, that concludes our Civics 101 lesson today. Remember, free speech protects you from the government. Now, our election update. Glad I had a couple questions in this regard. Mayor Campana announced he was going to run again, and when you're thinking about who you're going to vote for, remember, make sure that you remember things like this. Mayor Campana was the one who was instrumental in bringing that hockey team to Williamsport. And think about the money that he wasted in giving them breaks to have a hockey team in Williamsport in the winter outdoors on a baseball field. What a fiasco. Also remember that not only did Mayor Campana take the hoops down from Memorial Park with an executive order, in other words, by bypassing city council, he also, prior to that, a couple years before that, took the hoops down at Newberry Park, which left no parks in the west end of the city that had any basketball hoops or courts. And I'm not sure, what people remember about Lycoming County athletics, but I believe there have been 5 Division I basketball players in Lycoming County in the last 35 years. 2 of those 5 lived in the western end of Williamsport. And Mayor Campana decided that he was going to take all the hoops down from the west end of Williamsport. That's pretty amazing. So make sure that and also think about the fact that he's usurping city council's power when he does things with these executive orders. You know, the idea of the type of government that we have is that city council is a check on the mayor, but Mayor Campana is treating himself like he's king and he can do whatever he wants, and it's not proper. So think about things like that when you decide who you're going to vote for mayor. Also, D.A. Linhart, another election update. He announced he was going to run for D.A. again, and I want everyone to make sure they do some research. He's been given sanctions for violating defendants' rights in a murder case by not turning over evidence that he was supposed to turn over to them. I believe that was President Judge Butts who gave him those sanctions. He's also, as I've reported on previous shows, been wasting taxpayer money. He sends assistant district attorneys for summary offenses, which is ridiculous. What a waste of time and money, because those assistant district attorneys are people who have gone to college and law school and should be spending their time on, important cases, not summary offenses, which are things like traffic tickets. Also, think about the overcrowding in the Lycoming County Jail. That has to do with the DA's office's decision-making, which has been very, very poor. Their decision-making in terms of evaluating cases and their decision-making in terms of coming to a agreement with the defense in some plea bargaining. Okay. Now, one more, just as a quick announcement about our sponsors. Remember, you can call or text 570-244-6600, 570-244-6600 during business hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and my producer Steven can talk to you about advertising, whether it's a 10-second clip or a 30-second commercial, or whether you want to get on our website. There were over 6,000 views of our first 4 shows, which is pretty good considering the city of Williamsport only has 29,000 and some odd people, and I think that the metropolitan area only has about 55,000. And if you consider over 6,000 views, that's pretty good, because that means at least 6,000 people watch. But of course, when you're doing a view, it could be more than one person watching at a time, and that doesn't even include the people that are watching the show live. Okay, very good. That's our sponsors. Now, got a quick text that I am going to take. It says, "What do you know about football, and why are you a big fan of Diggs? Hanking is the better quarterback." Matt. Well, it's not that I'm necessarily a big fan of Diggs, other than the fact that I know that Christian is a classy individual. What I'm a fan of is doing what's in the best interest of the children. And this has nothing at all to do with Hankins. I mean, Isaiah is an excellent quarterback, and this has nothing to do with Isaiah. I mean, I suspect that if the shoe were on the other foot, that Isaiah would be expecting that the PAAA and the Williamsport administration would be treating him fairly. According to the current coaching staff, or the former coaching staff, Isaiah beat Christian out fair and square for the quarterback position. And this has nothing to do with Hankins. He had a terrific year. I mean, our team did not have a very successful year, but his stats were terrific. Whether he's a good quarterback, a bad quarterback, or a fair quarterback really is immaterial. What I'm interested in is what's in the best interest of the children. It makes no difference to me whether someone is a good player or a bad player. What matters to me is the quality of their character and how they're being treated. And the way our administration is treating them, in my opinion, is not right. And that's why I come out and say it. Okay. Now, a couple quick shout-outs. Of course, my Paisans in Brooklyn. Also, H-Block Totally Mental. The Williamsport Wildcats semi-pro football team. Williamsport Pride. And, of course, the office staff at Keystone State Camps. And let's not forget, any of you people out there that are O positive, please contact my producer, Steven, at 570-244-6600, because my teammate from high school and best friend from high school, Jim Mexdorf, still needs that one kidney. We need to make sure that Jim is around for a long, long time, hopefully longer than me, because he's a much nicer guy than I am. Now our outro. Once again, Williamsport, we are family. That's the way everyone should be. Help your neighbors. There's going to be a big snow tonight. Make sure people get home safely. If you're at a Super Bowl party and someone's had too much to drink, drive them home, call them a cab. I mean, we're family. We need to take care of one another. Also, for those young people out there, happy are those who dream great dreams and are willing to work hard enough to make them come true. Once again, think about that. Happy are those who dream great dreams, people that have very high goals, and are willing to work hard enough to make them come true. You know, get a roadmap to your goals, stick to that roadmap through thick or thin, and achieve your goals. Now, next week, next show, February the 8th, 2015 at 8 p.m. next Sunday, Life After Divorce. We will have a special guest who is an expert on life after divorce next week, so make sure you tune in. Any of those people that are interested in life after divorce, I have a special guest coming in who's an expert on life after divorce. And most importantly for tonight, please drive home safely from your Super Bowl parties. Make sure that you help people who might have had too much to drink. Get everyone home safely. Very, very important. And help your neighbor tomorrow to get rid of the snow so that people can get off to work and to school and whatever we need to do. Once again, Williamsport, we are family. Thank you very much for sharing your evening with me, and hopefully you're having a great Super Bowl Sunday and enjoy the second half.